Hello YouTube. I have a kind of a surprise project hanging out in the wings, but the parts haven't arrived yet. I had hoped to make this video on that, and we may still yet do that, but let's start with letting me show you what I've done off camera. We now have the fuel line run to the carburetor. All the vacuum lines have been run, and any vacuum line that had any cracks in it have been replaced, but they're all connected, including the air cleaner, which has yet to be cleaned up, and that's what we're going to start with right now. Off it comes. We got two vacuum lines we have to disconnect. That's one. This is the other. Oh, there's three vacuum lines in order to disconnect the air cleaner. With the air cleaner off, let's look at this mass of tubes they have here. I've tried to clean up the routing as much as possible and route them together. It truly looked like spaghetti before I started taping hoses together. For example, right here I have all these hoses taped together, and then they branch off separately. So they're taped together separately and go their own route. What I'd like to do is be able to sandblast this and powder coat it. And I'd like to make it look as original as possible. This decal here is gone, but this one I'd like to try to save, so we use a little heat on it and see if we can get it to come off. And we were successful, and we can put it back on. Top comes off, that's good enough. It's got a gasket here we're gonna have to try to take out. Interestingly enough, this air cleaner is too tall. If I put it on, the cover doesn't go all the way down. So the air cleaner, this element is too tall. I have taken pictures of this, so I know how the hoses go and how the pieces go. Now we're going to take all the pieces off. This hose is cracked, so we're going to have to replace it. There's one. There's another. Now we gotta get these out of there. Why do we gotta get them out of there? Because they have rubber on them. So how does that come out? This one we don't have to worry about, that's all metal. I can't get this flapper out. It almost looks like it's plastic. I had wanted to sandblast and powder coat, but I can't. They hot glued the snorkel onto the canister for the air cleaner, and I can't get it apart without destroying it. And the reason I got to get it apart is that this flapper, this rod is plastic, and I can't put it in the oven. So we're going to have to paint it rather than powder coat it. It's a disappointment, but we can do it. With all the components removed, with only breaking one retainer ring, and I do have more. It's time to head to the sandblaster to sandblast this, except for this gasket. Let's see if we can get this gasket out. Now I broke it. Well, broken in one place. I can probably put that back together if I have to, but I think I'll try new foam of some kind. Let's go sandblast. Here we go. I seem to spend a lot of time here at the sandblast booth. This was sealed with hot glue, not with caulk like I originally thought, and boy is it tough to get off. Even the sandblaster doesn't take it off. You gotta scrape it off this way, and the snorkel is definitely not coming off. So we're going to have to paint rather than powder coat. I'm really disappointed. I wanted to powder coat this. The stuff that remains after this scraping, I think I can get with a sandblaster, and that way we won't have any bulges around the seam here. With the canister and the cover sandblasted, let's give it a final cleaning before we start paint. Here we go with 2 coats of self-etching primer. Here we go with the final coat of black on the air cleaner. Received this in the mail today. They're a gift from a Wally 2. Let's see what we have. Don't look like much, but they're original hubs. Very hard to come by. I appreciate them very much. They should clean up pretty nice. Got to take them apart, clean them all up. This is a brand new NOS 2857 Warren hub, which is supposed to be exactly the same as this one, except it doesn't have the relief cuts in it. So this would not fit unless we put relief cuts in it, but it is a brand new hub. We're going to put these on. They look to be in good shape. Nice and greasy. Okay. All right, we got it in pieces. Let's put these, let's let these soak. Let's start cleaning some of this up. Looks like it's in really good condition. With the internals cleaned up, everything operating nicely, the teeth are in nice shape, we'll now clean up the outside to the sandblaster. With the hubs sandblasted and they came out real nice, we'll give it a final rinse off with brake clean to make sure we don't have any residue oil. And now we're going to tape them off for powder coat. The bottoms of these hubs were not painted, so I'm not going to powder coat them. I'll keep them clear of all powder coat. Let's put some powder on these hubs. I'm going to use semi-gloss because that's what I think they would have used. And we'll stick them in the oven at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. Let's see if we can put one of these together. The instructions specifically say do not pack with grease, but they want you to put a light coat of grease on everything. So that's what we'll do. We'll put some grease there. We'll put some grease down here. Light coat of grease on. This is, I guess, what you would call the selector. It has a ramp in it that pushes the teeth down into the hub and selects four-wheel drive. Let's see. There's always a pretty fun task in a project, and I think this next one is that fun task. What we have to do is take this hub, take this ramp, put the spring on the outside of the ramp, take the selector, and that goes down inside the ramp. On the top of the selector is, how do I say this, asynchronous hexagon, which fits into the bottom of the selector knob. And what we have to do is push the spring into the hub and put the selector knob on. But before we do that, we got to put the O-ring on. So there's the O-ring. Now that I've got this hub together and figured out how it goes, let's see if I can put one together for you guys. The first thing we need to do is take this adjuster. This is what selects 2 and 4-wheel drive, and we want this to be all the way in the up position. And the up position is for 2-wheel drive. And then that goes inside of this collar, which locks it in place, which makes it go up and down. We got to get it into the teeth, like so. We're going to take the O-ring and put it on top. Take the spring, put that on top of that. Take our hub and put this, I'm sorry, I skipped a step. We want to orientate the selector to 2-wheel drive. There's a pointer here and there's an indication of 2-wheel drive here. So we want them to be in the same orientation. Then we take the selector knob off, slide the spring in, slide the hub on the spring, take a piece of wood and slide the hub down inside. You got to line the teeth up. Push it all the way in, take the selector, and it should fit in the number 2 position because that's where we pre-selected it. And screw in the retaining screw. Now it shouldn't fly apart. We should be able to turn it to 4-wheel drive and not have it come apart. Go to 2-wheel drive and not have it come apart. We should be able to take the inside bearing and put it in place with it in 2-wheel drive and turn the spline on the inside. So that's 2-wheel drive. Then if we take and select 4-wheel drive and try it again, we find that we can't turn the spline, so that would lock the wheel in. So we've got the hub assembled correctly. Off comes the tire. To start our assembly, we'll put the gasket on. We'll put the, I guess, gear assembly on. Get it down in its groove. Take the snap ring, and that's got to go here on the end. Make sure it's in the groove. Yep, it's in the groove. Now we take the hub, and slide it on, a bolt, a lock washer, and a flat washer. And we do 5 of those. Instructions say 27 to 31 foot-pounds, so I got it set for 30. Let's test the hubs. So there's two-wheel drive. Yoke's not turning. We'll put it in four-wheel drive. And it turns. So the hub is working. With the hub bolted on and the bolts torqued to 30 foot-pounds, we can do the final detail, which is put this decal on. Like so. And put the tire on. And there we have it. One OEM hub installed. I feel good. Back to the air cleaner. And what we have to do is clean up all the parts so that we can assemble it again. And what I'm using is a 3M Scotch-Brite pad and some Dove soap. It's amazing what this Dove soap does. I left it in one of these pans overnight, came back, and it removed the galvanized from the pan. And it's now stained. I couldn't believe it. Not that it works that fast, but it does work. A little elbow grease. And this is cleaned up pretty nice. So I'll wipe it off. So that's pretty good. You got a little more dirt here, and then we got to do the side. One way to check to see if these things are still any good is you depress the diaphragm, put your finger over the end of the vacuum line that goes into there, and if the diaphragm stays intact while you have your finger over the end of the inlet, and then when you let it go, it pops back out the way it should, then the unit is working as it should. This one also tests good. Depress the diaphragm, hold the vacuum, let it go, and it pops out. The diaphragm does not have a hole in it. With the air cleaner painted and the parts powder coated and the rest of them cleaned up, we're ready to put it back together. And the first thing I want to start with is this breather element. And there should be in here an element to keep the oil from getting into the air filter. And there wasn't one there. I'm just going to cut one out of this 3M Scotch-Brite pad. I wonder if I can get two in there. There we go. Fills that up real nice. So this breather goes right here, and you tilt it at 90 degrees and turn it in place, and it's locked in place. This vacuum switch goes here and goes in with a clip. This transducer, or whatever it is, goes here and is held in by a clip here. This bimetal switch, which is temperature driven, gets a little gasket underneath it and gets put in these two holes. Then on the back side, we take one of these clips and we slide it down on the shaft. And we do the same thing with the second one. What we have to do is engage this linkage with the duct flap on the inside of the snorkel. And because it's painted black, you can't see a darn thing. So I'm going to turn this light on. This can only go in one way. That's because a pop rivet goes there and a tab goes there, so that dictates this must go in this way. We want to do this without ruining the paint. Now that we got the duct engaged, we have to put the slide in, and then we put the pop rivet in. Yep. We're going to take our pop rivet, insert it, and we've got one installed. This was more difficult because we got to get this linkage around that lever. This linkage for this lever gets mounted on a bracket, and the bracket gets pop riveted right there. So we'll pop rivet it back in place. Now this diaphragm can only be mounted one way because there's a tab there and a pop rivet there, and this linkage has to go around that lever. We were successful. I'm going to stick this tab in there and pop rivet that in place. The last thing we have to do is put a gasket in here. I have the original. I mean, I could glue that back in. And I think that would be totally acceptable. Let's go see what I have on the shelf. I found this foam tape, and it's just about perfect. So the question is, do I keep the original gasket or do I put a new gasket in? I think the original is in good enough shape. We're going to use that. We're going to glue it in. I think what I'll do is I'll put a small bead of silicone sealer in there, and that way if we ever want to take it apart, we can. And it's gooey enough that it'll hold the gasket in place so I can turn it upside down and put it on the air cleaner. And the air cleaner will hold the gasket in place until the goo is cured. And if we ever want to take it off, this just peel off. Well, it won't just peel off, but it will come off. Here we go. Let's put this gasket back in. Can you see where it was torn? Now we have to clean up the hoses. Now, the hoses, the ends are too big. They go on and off the connections too easy. It's a vacuum leak. The hose itself is in good condition. It's not cracked. So what I'm going to do is put some constant tension clamps on the ends, and that'll fix the problem. This connection, this hose is in good shape, but it goes on too easy and it comes off too easy. So what I'm going to do is put a clamp on it, a constant tension clamp, and that way it stays on. This line we're replacing because somebody replaced it with window washer tubing. So we'll replace it with the correct tubing. This is the old breather element that was in there, and this is the new one. Notice that it's shorter than the one that was in there, which is what was causing that top to be proud of the canister. With all the hoses secure, let's go put it on the Jeep. We'll plug the vacuum feed for the canister into the carburetor port. Set the air cleaner in place. Plug up vacuum lines that go to who knows where. The crankcase ventilation. What else goes up there? That's it. The electric we don't have yet. In goes the air cleaner element. Put the top on. We're not done. The last thing we have to do is put the heat riser tube in, and it just comes up here like that. I'll put clamps on that heat riser tube when we're finally done, but I'm sure we're going to take it apart for some reason. So I'm not putting the clamps on now. In fact, I'm probably going to just take this back off so it doesn't get damaged. I put it on so that you guys could see the complete system. I think it's a good idea to take it off because it'll get damaged. I think we've met our goal here. We got the air cleaner completely assembled, and we've got the surprise project working so that we have 4 and 2-wheel drive. We thank Wally 2 very much for that. So if you enjoyed this video, there will be more.